again to the Tabletop RPG Super-Stream, a fundraiser for the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund. I am your host for the day, Jeff Stormer, and we are running through yet another game of tabletop RPG goodness, all superhero themed for a Superman themed day. I am so excited to be sitting down here for a game of Fit to Print, which is a role-playing game about the journalists in the world of a great and powerful superhero. Anybody that knows the slightest bit about me knows that I love the Daily Planet. I love J. Jonah Jameson and his love of photos of Spider-Man. I love Lois Lane. These are all characters that mean a lot to me. So this particular game is one that I've been extremely excited about for some time. I am joined by two wonderful guests. Thank you both so much for joining me. And I'm going to have you introduce yourself, give your name, pronouns, and if there's anything that you want to plug or promote. Amanda, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda McKnight. I do many things. How would I describe myself? I'm a YouTuber, a content creator. I am an actor. And I also happen to really love comics. In fact, a lot of people probably know me from Top 10 Nerd, which is a channel on YouTube that I work for. But I also have my own YouTube channel that I've been pretty active on for the last few months. So if you've also ever wanted to hear me talk more about the cinematic world of superhero stuff, or just hear me like list off and rank Peeps, those delicious marshmallow Easter snacks. I do lots of weird stuff over there, so you can check that out, and you can find me online at VampX13. And I also do a lot of cosplay, and I do a lot of cosplay on my own channel as well. So yeah, hello.
I gotta know, Peeps adjacent.
Yes.
Did you try the Peeps Pepsi, and was it ungodly?
Did I try it? I have some in my fridge right now.
How was it? What's the rating on it?
It's very sweet. It's basically like what I imagine a hummingbird would drink if they were the ones making like a soda. But I actually really like it. But I'm a big Peeps fan. So, I will say when you start drinking it, it kind of tastes like metal or like
it's blood. Got that metal sugary, that mega metal sugary taste. Yeah, I get what you're at.
So when you get to it's sort of like you need to drink most of one for it to really grow on you, and that was for me. So I feel like for most people, it's probably a no-go.
Okay. As a noted soda enthusiast, this is good information to have. I am not going to go deep diving on ranking Mountain Dew flavors here on the stream. We have more important things to cover, but know that it could happen at a moment's notice.
Yeah, then for you, I would say definitely try it if you like soda.
All right, I will keep that in mind. Alana, introduce yourself and give us the rundown.
Hi, my name is Alana Wolfgang Duran. I am known around the internet as @Seraphim Falls with a C, not an S, because I can't spell. And I'm just happy to be here. Like, I feel like it's an honor to be nominated, kind of a thing. If you guys want to find me around the internet, like I've been on podcasts before, Dog and Thimble, talking about board games, and ruining Edge of the Empire for people.
I mean, I feel like Edge of the Empire exists to be ruined and for people to ruin Star Wars in the most affectionate way possible.
Well, I'll put it this way. Two of our players were Turner and Hooch, which were a Han Solo and Chewbacca kind of simulacrum.
Right.
And Turner pretended that he knew Wookiee, basically, but it only had like a second grade Spanish level of understanding. And then our Hooch was not a Wookiee, but in fact 3 Ewoks in a Wookiee trench coat.
That's
so good.
I have lost the ability to enunciate words with how much joy that brought me.
I'm sorry, where can I go to consume this?
I don't know if it's up anymore, but it used to be on Dog and Thimble.
Okay.
Hopefully it's still on Spotify somewhere. We lost the password to the
I hate when that happens.
That's heartbreaking.
People had kids and people moved. It was a whole mess. But also coming up, I don't know if it'll be in time for this stream, but in the next month or so, my friend Tony and I are also starting another podcast called The Blue Meanies, BLU, not the color, where we talk about just movie stuff, but like weird movie stuff.
I love that.
I grew up in a very like austere household. So that's what I know. And then he knows random like bad movie stuff and
Great.
scary movies. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're hoping to have a lot of people on. So
That sounds great. I love that.
Well, I'm definitely checking that out. That sounds amazing. I'm
That sounds
literally
great.
making notes about you. That's the beginning of my notes.
Well, to be fair, I also made notes about you, and I'm going to go check out your cosplay stuff and your YouTube thing. I'm excited. Oh, also, Amanda, have you ever tried peeps jousting?
What is peeps jousting?
I also need to know this. I gotta know.
Yeah.
Take two peeps. You make like little jousting sticks out of toothpicks, and you can make them armor as well. You put them in the microwave and see what happens. Whose peep dies first? It's a
Oh,
lot of fun and a really great way to spend an evening after having some beverages.
I
peeps
for real thought
jousting.
you were gonna say a great way to ruin a microwave, which is also what it sounds like. But you know,
I
We
mean,
can
I
have
feel like it'd be safe because I usually, when I make s'mores, that's like one of the ways that I'll make s'mores. If I don't,
yeah,
obviously, if I don't have a fire, which living in a city, not a lot of fires around, you can roast marshmallows on. So I think it's
Right.
safe, but that sounds like way too much fun. And I will definitely be doing that in the future. So thank you.
Yeah,
that
just don't
Did
use a
not know.
pencil because we did accidentally use a pencil once, and
that will go poorly very
Yeah.
quickly.
That will not go well. The microwave will not be happy about the pencil, I'm sure.
and neither
Ah.
will the smell of your apartment be for
Oh
like
my
2
god, I didn't
weeks.
even think about the smell. Yeah, that's not gonna go great.
True.
Yeah, so we are playing Fit to Print today. We are journalists in a superhero city. We have talked a little bit about our tone, about our location. We haven't quite named our city, but we'll get there. The big pitch of the game is, yeah, we are journalists investigating something that has occurred, a big threat and potentially a large villain in the world, in a city, in a place that is protected by a hero. So before we get into everything, we have a few more character creation questions to answer, which is also going to give us a chance to introduce our characters, as well as get to know a little bit more about the city, the city that we live in, the newspaper that we work for, and the hero that we are de facto following. So I guess so to do that, why don't we go in a circle? I can go first, and we'll introduce our characters, and then we have some hook questions to kind of flesh out our world a little bit. So I am playing Lawson Lentils. Lawson Lentils is the food reviewer for our local newspaper. He is, imagine the food reviewer equivalent of like the rock and roll burnout DJ is how I would imagine him. Like, he's got the aviator sunglasses, he's got like a thick mustache, hair that's a little bit too long. But like, if that guy, instead of going into reviewing old like jazz records or like running the 2 a.m. jazz block on NPR, got into like talking about local food establishments, that's Lawson. That's Lawson in a nutshell. He brings with him a lucky handkerchief. He claims that he got it from Guy Fieri at a signing, but there's no proof of that. And he has a knowledge of every restaurant in the city, as well as constantly just like popping candy, which is not a thing that's probably ideal for a food reviewer. Is like, I just noshed on a Twix bar before going to this restaurant, but you know, we all got to have joys in life. And plus, if this restaurant sucks, I want something that's going to bring my spirits back up afterwards.
I can't imagine what his taste buds must be like constantly eating candy. Like, he's got to have a very interesting palate for these reviews.
So, what he does very specifically is, one of the pieces of the candy types that he has on him at all times are he has like one of the jumbo movie theater boxes of lemon heads, because he heard once that lemon sorbet is the thing that's supposed to like reawaken your palate.
Right.
And he's like, lemon heads are close enough, right? So he'll pop a lemon head, and that's his way of resetting his palate.
Wow, I love it.
That's amazing.
So I've got a few hook questions to answer. We're each going to answer one question about the paper that we work for, one question about the hero that protects our city, and two questions about our coworkers, which I'm going to read the prompt and throw it to the two of you to see which of my two coworkers they feel right for. Before we get to the hero questions, we might want to talk briefly about like who our hero is if we have thoughts, but we also might let that be decided by the questions on our character sheet.
Cool.
My hook for the paper, I wrote an honest review that led to a popular local business being shut down. What did I write and what business was lost? I think I wrote a review that led to a small-time local diner being shut down. The name I've written down is Little Larry's Diner. I think that it was, I think the review that I wrote, I think it is kind of my great professional shame because I wrote it before I kind of realized I could be myself as a critic. So I wrote it very kind of like hoity-toity, putting down the local establishment, despite the fact that like, I imagine Lawson kind of loved it. Like, it seems like Lawson's kind of place, but I imagine that he wrote this review that has kind of followed him around as sort of like, I went too hard, I got too snotty, and it led to this beloved local institution getting shut down.
Oh,
That's
his
the vibe.
regrets.
He's got a
I like
regret.
it. Wow.
My hero question. In the main area the hero has been spotted in, you've noticed a particular local business being affected. What is the business and how has it been affected? I need to ask the both of you a question. Do any of the three of us have feelings about the name of a city? What's the first city name that kind of pops into our head? Because it is important for the business that I have written down. What's a vibe for the story that we're after that we can slap the word city onto as a good signpost?
Like, if we're going for more hopeful, we could just go straight down the middle and say New Hope City.
New Hope City. Great.
I love that.
Okay.
So this is New Hope #1 Eurocart is the name of the business that is affected. It is a chain of local Eurocarts. You get your gyro, your falafel, you get whatever you need. They have popped up like crazy wherever our hero has been spotted. Once the hero saves the day, the next day there's a Eurocart there, and people are lining up because they want to check. You've got your rubberneckers checking out the wreckage. You've got your construction workers trying to repair things. It's just, and like, they just become a sort of spot of, they just kind of become the effective water cooler of whatever location the superhero battle just erupted in. Is everybody is grabbing a sandwich and just kind of sitting on the sidewalk gabbing about whatever has happened here.
That's
I
a genius.
love that.
That's a great marketing strategy.
They have cornered this market. It is remarkable
Wow.
to watch how quickly these Eurocarts move into action.
Literally cornered because it's on a street corner.
And not for nothing, genuinely a pretty great lamb gyro. Like, you would I will acknowledge, genuinely a pretty outstanding lamb gyro.
This is just the foodie in me, but if there is a number in the title of your restaurant, you know it's going to be good. Like, if there's a pho restaurant that doesn't have a number in the title, not going to be good. That's
honest. That is genuinely my Eurocart guideline. Is like, I need you to tell me that it's #1 because that's how I know that you're legitimate.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Right. Alana, would you like to introduce your character? Oh, wait. Well, I haven't well, let's introduce our characters and then we'll go through our coworker stuff because I think once we get to know our characters a little bit, we'll know how we relate to one another.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm playing the gossip columnist, Gabby Hopper. And I'm considering a voice, but let's keep going, I guess. So as a gossip columnist, I have a big book of secrets about everybody, all the movers and shakers in New Hope City. And of course, I have a hidden microphone because if anybody's going to talk to me, I need it. I need the proof that it's happened.
Of course.
But, you know, as a gossip columnist, putting myself out there on the line every day for the truth of our city and bringing people to justice. I also carry a gun because I just, one, you know, defense, but also I assume we're in America, so I probably have a gun.
I love that.
Yeah.
The truth comes out.
No, you're not wrong. Is the thing?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel bad about it, but
No,
probably.
don't. I say don't. I recognize it. I acknowledge it.
And, you know, as a gossip columnist, I probably people probably think they can take advantage of me, and you know, I'm a pretty tough dame. I can't let that happen. As for my hooks, the paper. Your section of the paper is the most read by far. However, you've said something that has left a lot of people angry with the paper, and your credibility is in the toilet. What did you boldly claim?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards playing this more as like a Jerry Springer type of
Sure. Love
person.
that.
Cool.
Love
You
that.
know, you want anger and fighting and whatever, but Jerry
Sells
Springer was
sells
like
papers.
really fantastic as a journalist and a very smart guy. So I'm hoping that maybe this claim is going to sell papers, but it absolutely has that ring of truth. And I'm wondering if I should make it about our hero.
Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
make it about the hero. What'd you say?
Woo. That the people that our hero saves tend to be more noteworthy. So perhaps our hero is in the pocket of these noteworthy people as like their personal bodyguard, so to speak.
Oh,
Right. So you
that's
think the
a
hero's
great
elitist,
twist.
basically. It's like an elitist hero.
An elitist hero, or we can even take it a step further and say that this hero is absolutely playing God and within a capitalist system and is determining who deserves to live and who deserves to die.
Wow.
Damn. And I imagine people that have been saved by the hero are not at all going to be happy about that. So people are angry with the paper and are throwing accusations out.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's called New Hope City. So
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people moved here like, the advertising said I'd be hopeful if I lived here.
Wow. Great twist. That's a great twist. I like that.
Cool.
That's great. That already gives us a pretty strong connection too, which I like. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And did we do the hero part next?
We did not, but it also ties in pretty nicely with what you just dropped.
Okay. So the hero, you've created an outrageous rumor about the hero that has gained universal belief. What did you say? He's a deterministic jerk face.
I love that. That's great. Real JJJ vibes, and it makes me very happy. It is
awesome.
It makes me unbelievably happy. And last but certainly not least, Amanda, introduce us to our intern.
Yes. Hello. I will be playing the intern in this game. And the intern's name is Florence Flo Foster. So people usually just call her Flo.
Love it.
Yeah, she is pretty interesting. She's very professional, I would say, from like almost down, but she always wears like sneakers is a weird thing that she likes to do. So she's always in sneakers, but everything else is like just like you could imagine that she is the lowest lane of this establishment just from looking at her until you get to her feet. Everything else is 100% super professional, like reporter almost. She carries a briefcase. She like always has a notepad out. She's always seems like she's ready for a big scoop, but she's just the intern. And I think she's also been interning for like a while. So she'd be like the same age as the reporters. She's like the oldest intern in the office is what I'm imagining. Yeah, she carries with her a letter opener from the job that always ends up in her pocket. she does help people open mail, but it's also something she's not supposed to take home. And I think it's actually like maybe belongs to someone high up, like maybe the editor-in-chief. It's actually his or her
Ooh.
letter opener, and has had it in her pocket forever and is always like, I can never give this back now. It's been far too long. And it's one of those things that keeps coming up as a missing item around the office. She also carries with her a collection of wigs, which she
Fabulous.
keeps in her briefcase. You would think there's files in there, but it's really just wigs. Yeah. And she also has in her possessions a note that she keeps in her breast pocket that reminds her why she's here. I don't know if I want to say anything else about that. We can find out more about that as it goes on.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Give us your 2 hook questions.
So my 2 hook questions are, for the paper, you got this internship on a fluke that showed management you could do the job here. What did you do? So I think when she applied for the position and came in for her interview, Flo was not having the best day. Her resume was a mess. She didn't really have the correct experience for this job, but she's always wanted to be a hard-hitting reporter. That's a dream that she's had her whole life. She comes from a long line of reporters, and she wants to be the next one. Her mom actually has like a Pulitzer, and she's like, one day I want to have the Pulitzer too. But they weren't feeling it. However, at that time, the hero was actually chasing a villain, and they were fighting sort of around this billboard, and no one could get close enough to get a shot. And they were trying to get the reporters to sort of go up there, a photographer to go up there. No one wanted to climb up on this billboard. And Flo just kicked her shoes off and climbed all the way up to the top with a camera. The shots she got were not amazing. Most of them were like little like clips of people's feet. But she did get one really good one that made the front page. And that is what allowed her to be hired, because she was the one that would do the jobs they could tell that no one else would do.
She's got moxie. I love that.
She's got moxie. Flo. The hero, my question is, you've met the hero while they were out doing what they do, and they gave you a piece of advice you've held on to. What was it? They taught me how to tie my shoelaces.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Fantastic.
Flo never knew how to tie shoelaces, and she is never forgotten. Always wearing sneakers, and her laces are always perfectly done up. Gotta be.
Once you. That's great. That rules. All right.
Don't want to trip. Tripped once, never again.
So now we're going to go back around, and we've each got 2 connections that we're going to make to our fellow coworkers. We will have one go to each person. I think that the best way to do it, I think that we'll like I said, we'll go I'm trying to decide what the best way to go about this is. I think we'll pick it, because now that we've gotten to know our characters a little bit, we've got a few prompts in front of us, and then we'll just kind of choose which one we feel like relates, and then we'll talk through what that means a little bit.
Okay.
Which of the 2 of you, I think Gabby, I think that you think I have bad taste. That feels great to me. And I think, Flo, I'm going to ask you this. Why are you the only person that I would trust to handle my column if something ever happened?
Oh, I think that's because Flo actually went to school for cooking. So she did not go to school for this field at all. She has no real experience in it, but she did actually major for, I'm going to say, like half of her schooling in cooking. So that was one of her majors when she was in college.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I like that there's like, as much as I am laughing at the idea, like as much as the food reviewer is like a fun thing, the idea that I've done the research, like, and I quietly have that in my back pocket implies a level of like, I have gone into this, implies a level of like, of research and professionalism that is telling me a lot about Lawson as a character.
I like to imagine that Lawson actually secretly gave Flo a test where just casually like
Ooh.
shared lunch with Flo one day and then was asking questions about like, oh, what do you think of this? And Flo was like just listing off all these crazy terms and getting really into it. And Lawson was like, yep, Flo could do this job if we really needed it.
I'm kind of imagining like maybe out of your lunchbox you also pulled lemon heads as your dessert, and that was just
Yeah, that was the
thing
one
that
thing.
sell-
There it is.
And
There
like
it
it's
is.
like cleanses your palate. And then he was like, yeah, cleanses your
It
palate.
does cleanse your palate. It does. Gabby, why don't you go through your your coworker questions?
Okay. Well, uh, you know what? Because, um, ooh, because Flo has Moxie, I think Gabby is going to owe Flo for getting me out of some serious trouble.
That's great.
Now the question is, what is that serious trouble?
What is that
Hmm.
serious trouble?
I mean, it could just be something silly as like, I had to go to some fantastic event and I broke a heel and Flo gave me her sneakers to wear. Or it could be something serious like I found out the mayor has a mistress and was going to print it, but Flo caught it and was like, don't do it. The bad
It's
plan.
not a good idea. I like
Yeah.
the idea of the sneakers, but I like the idea that event you were going to, maybe that was like a huge event. Like maybe that was where you got a really serious scoop
Mhm.
and it was like you couldn't miss the event. Like it was, I don't know, a party you were sneaking into.
Mhm.
I
It's
like
like the
that.
mayor's
Ooh.
secret party. And that's where you discovered he had a mistress. And then Flo was like, yeah, print that story. Sounds great.
Love it.
I
Even
like
better.
that. I like that a lot. That's
Gotta
fantastic.
print that story. That's gonna sell some papers.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just writing this down and I'm the slowest writer in the world. Okay. Now, for Lawson, I think Lawson has bad taste, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not good coworkers.
Mhm.
So I guess my question for you, Jeff, is do you feel like we'd have a contentious relationship?
I am I'm leaning towards I've flipped to your coworker prompts and they're both genuinely very, very fun.
Right.
Cause I thinking that you're a talent, thinking like if we are just originally my head was like it would be really I would like a lot if it was like I saw the value in a gossip column, but also I kind of made me feel like you're a talentless hack that doesn't deserve your the fact that if we're gonna be teaming up to like save the day and we just fucking despise each other, that's real satisfying.
But we both love Flo.
Yeah,
And
Flo's
she's
great.
keeping the whole group together.
Flo's great. Flo's great. Flo's fine.
Beautiful. Okay, you're a talent, or you think I'm a talentless hack?
Yeah,
And
well,
yeah, you've got
you
bad
think
taste. It's
you
great.
think I got bad taste? I think that your column is trash. We'll figure it out. We make it
Yeah.
work. Flo's great. And that's what matters. Flo's
Flo's
great.
wonderful.
All right.
All right.
Interesting. I like this animosity. I might add a little more and well, not as forward animosity, I think, but maybe behind the scenes animosity
Ooh.
with mine. So I think this makes the most sense. I think Lawson thinks that I should work for their department.
I like that.
But
Yeah.
I think maybe there might be something there where Flo really doesn't want to be a food. I mean, obviously she wants a Pulitzer, so she's like, I can't. That's not the department I'm going to get the Pulitzer in. So every time it kind of comes up or it's brought up, Flo keeps trying to like dissuade from it somehow and like distract anyone that actually in the office that's like, actually, that maybe we should talk to someone about that. Like Flo's like, no. Oh, you have to sign all these papers right now. Actually, we can't be talking about this right now. Let's talk about this later.
That's great. That's fantastic.
All right. And I think Gabby and I studied together in school, but at that time, I was going through a lot in my life when I was in college, is what I'm imagining for Flo.
Sure.
She didn't really know where she wanted to be focused. So I think she had a few majors. I'm going to limit it to, let's say, no, I'm not going to limit it right now, but she had a weird amount of majors. So she, while majoring in food, she also had another major that was in fashion design.
Ooh.
Yeah, she loved fashion. She still does. She wears different wigs all the time.
Right.
Keeps in her briefcase. Big fan. And when we studied together, you were actually studying, I'm assuming, if this is cool with you, for journalism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you got here and maybe we were both interns together, but you got promoted and I didn't.
Oh.
So you got a column and you got to like actually write and be like a lead writer for a part of the paper. And I have not gotten that yet.
Got it.
Been an intern for a long time.
That makes me really sad.
This might be the
this might be
the day that changes. This might be the day that changes.
It might be.
All right, so the very last thing that we need to create before we dive in, and this is also going to kind of give us a chance to get, we've got a few seeds that are already planted, but this is going to give us a chance to identify what our threat and our villain are. We need to get to know New Hope a little bit, and we need to get to know where what the locations, the sites, and the faces and the places throughout the city are. The game recommends that we start out by mapping out 4 locations, one of which is the newspaper. This is appropriate because there are 3 of us here. So we're each going to come up with a location, a single detail about that location that is just like a factoid that we can fall back on, and a person that can be found at that location. I've got one written down here to kind of give us, to kick us off. There is a massive 5-star hotel in New Hope called the Authoritarian. The Authoritarian Hotel is the worst, snootiest hotel you have ever seen. It is overpriced. It is obnoxious. The lobby looks like a ballroom. It is opulent in a word. And I specifically wrote down that there is an obscenely overpriced steakhouse is the in-hotel restaurant.
Love it.
Caviar on everything, whether or not it needs to be.
And then they truffle the caviar.
Oh, truffle oil is flowing like water. They serve they serve a steak with gold leaf on it for $250, and it's just like, that's not adding flavor. That's not doing anything.
When they're busting out the gold leaf, that's not a good sign. Yeah,
not a great sign.
No,
they hired a Salt Bay impersonator.
Awful.
For an extra $500, you can get the Salt Bay impersonator.
Oh my gosh.
And the person that hangs out there is Mr. Mitchell, who is the mayor's personal fixer. So the personal problem solver for the mayor.
Okay. I love it.
Do either of you have a location that you want to see in the city?
Can I suggest that we have a big, like a park, but at the center of the park, there's a giant water fountain.
Oh, I like that.
Love it.
Just like really majestic. And there are mermaids that are like sculpted as sitting in the water fountain. Maybe it's called Mermaid Park. Maybe that's the name of the park. Mermaid Park.
Like that.
And what could I say about this park?
I feel like that's a pretty good picture of it already. As we've got this
I
giant
mean, it's got a
fountain
mermaid fountain, Mermaid Park. A little like quirky factoid, I guess, is that all of the garbage cans, we've just transitioned to new garbage cans. We're testing them in the park, and they are self-disposing. So all of the garbage in them gets incinerated.
Okay.
This is the future coming in. The future of tomorrow.
And who do we regularly find at Mermaid Park?
Who do we regularly find at Mermaid Park? I think we usually find maybe the hero. No, maybe not the hero. The hero, yeah, the hero's dog is usually at the park. The hero's dog.
Hero's dog.
Mhm.
Once we get to know our hero a little bit, we'll come up with a dog name, but I need to know it.
Yes.
We will not end the stream until we know the name of the dog. It is important to me.
The hero's dog walks themselves in the park. So
That's great.
soon everything in this park will be automated. Dogs are walking themselves.
Dogs are walking
Trash
themselves.
cans.
Trash is burning. It's all. It's the way of the future.
Modern.
Can I throw another little thing in this park
Yeah.
at the fountain? Can there just be one kind of janky wooden ramp that goes up to the fountain because there's ducklings that hatch every year and they sit in the fountain.
Oh, I love
So it's just little ducks and very cute, and then these burning trash cans all around.
that.
Yep. That feels right.
I love this idea of this beautiful park, but with like the modern burning trash cans, it probably ruins the entire aesthetic of everything they built. Always smells like burning trash in this park.
That's great. I like that.
Oh,
So what's
man.
our last location?
Ooh, I think maybe I'm considering two places. You guys
Yep.
tell me which one you think would be better. Either a natural history museum,
I love a natural history museum.
so good, or the like a country club.
I like the museum.
I think a museum is
Okay.
the way to go. I think
Yeah.
a
Beautiful.
natural history museum is. There's a lot of fun comic booky potential that comes from that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes. So many good things and terrible things have happened in museums.
Mhm. Oh, let's see. Oh, and of course, we got to figure out what kind of dinosaur is at the front?
Hmm.
The dinosaur is at the front.
I mean, I want to go with like a T-Rex because I'm thinking like Justice League Dark is what I'm thinking of, and they have that like giant, or actually, I guess that's a dragon in Justice League Dark.
That was
Yeah.
where my brain went.
Batman has the T-Rex
Has the
though in the
T-Rex.
Batcave. Yeah,
My brain went immediately to this is some kind of
So is it-
colossal alien dinosaur that they've just like
Hmm.
they've got the skeleton and they're like, well, it's a T-Rex with dragon wings. We don't quite have the explanation for it.
yeah.
Do
Is
you
it
guys
something
know-
fantastical or otherworldly? Do you think?
We could totally do it that way. Do either of you guys know who Carl Akeley is?
Carl Akeley, I'll look it up real quick.
Carl
No.
Akeley is the like granddaddy of modern taxidermy. He's the guy that turned it from like, let's put this, thing I shot up on the wall to let's actually make
Okay.
these animals like look like they are
Alive.
in the wild and
Yeah.
use it for conservation efforts. So maybe we could do like kind of a janky Carl Akeley style taxidermy of an alien dragon that they kind of found and were hoping to make
That's
work.
Yeah.
that fucking rule.
That sounds great. I also want to say that like maybe this is a recent thing that they've transformed it into because maybe they're getting a permanent Carl Akeley installation in the museum or our fictional version of that character if we're not in the real world. I don't know where we are. I don't know how real world or how fake world we're going with it, but I love that. That's awesome.
Okay. So then that tells us who is also at the Natural History Museum is going to be Marl Makeley.
Marl Makeley.
Marl Makeley.
Marl Makeley, who is the curator.
I love it. And then we have our newspaper. What's the vibe of the newspaper? I think that's the detail for this newspaper is what's the vibe? We are a respected newspaper. Even if our best days are behind us, we have a legacy that is respected. If we publish something, people take notice, regardless of the technological era. But within that, we can make whatever vibe we want. If we want to be a sleazy tabloid, if we want to be a well-respected publication, those are really all up in the air. I have an immediate pitch.
Sure.
Pitch.
That with us as prominent news people, it really does feel like it's a sleazy rag. But like I'm not like I'm happy to be convinced otherwise, but like if we got a gossip columnist and whatever Lawson's deal is as like the faces of the institution, it feels like it's a tabloid rag.
I think that I would like to offer that it maybe has potential to be something more,
Okay.
but it depends on what part of the paper you're reading, I think. So
You know those like free news like weekly newspapers that you can pick up at like a restaurant on your way out?
A Village Voice, sure.
A
Yeah.
Village
Yeah.
Voice. Like something like the Village Voice. So it's definitely like there's the gossip in there and there's the culture and the food. And then on the back, there's, ads for escorts and things.
Angry letters from the neighborhood. Sure.
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh,
So like we're very like grassroots almost then a bit. We're not quite like high rise newspaper. We might be like 2 stories up.
I would like to propose that the most popular segment in our newsletter or newspaper is the hypes and gripes column, which is probably a little bit of a chafing thing to all of us reporters. It's just whoever submits a letter, either hyping or griping. That's the segment that's what people pick up the paper for.
I love it.
But maybe it's like one of those things where we're trying to push to be taken a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
So we embrace the fact that like, yeah, we're kind of not so serious, but we all aspire to be a great paper.
Yeah.
And I think I want this person. We gotta know who our editor-in-chief is.
Yeah. Who's our editor-in-chief? What do they like?
I am visioning if this is a free news. I'm thinking about the free newspapers in my beloved city of Philadelphia. I would like to propose that our editor-in-chief is like, I get anarchist punk vibes because
That's
those
exactly
are the people
what I was thinking.
Okay, good.
For sure. But like maybe they've aged out of it a little bit. So they still have like the mohawk ponytail, but they also have like a weird scarf that they wear, even though it's 80 degrees outside.
What's a good 70s punk name? I'm gonna go.
How about like Harry, but his name is Harold?
Yeah. Harry, Harold, but you can find his old writing under the name Harry Hacksaw.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Do we ever call him that? Or he doesn't like that?
He doesn't like it. That doesn't mean that Lawson doesn't do it.
Right.
Those are very important distinctions.
Do we think there's any external pressure for our editor-in-chief to kind of lean more towards just like sleazy stuff? Or do you think that just comes from a sense of chaos within him?
I think I kind of like the vibe that I get that I kind of want to throw out is like, I almost get the vibe that we are the people pushing this away from being Harry's sort of like, for lack of a better way to put it, fuck around project.
Right.
Like this is his way of just kind of like, I imagine like Harry is a punk as an old punk with money that has like a free newsletter that he keeps up just for shits and giggles.
Right. So he wants to push it towards just everything being pretty ridiculous because he just thinks it's funny.
He's just having fun with it. And we're like, we could make a difference in the city if we really tried.
Yeah.
That's
Is
great.
he going to insist on like keeping his old zine roots and every layout is by hand? That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah,
100%,
I think so.
100%. Yeah, that's great. All right. So, a few questions. Let's get to know our hero a little bit further. We've got some
did
broad
we name
questions.
the newspaper?
Oh, we haven't.
We could just call it the Hacksaw.
Oh, the Hacksaw is great. So a few things about our hero. These are things that are important for us to have is what their name is, which is what they call themselves, what people call them, and what the media calls them. Their power level, their powers, their territory, and their demeanor.
Which page is this on?
This is on page 10 of the book. Outlines kind of the big questions that we should outline for our hero.
Got it.
I would love, I'm thinking through, especially whether or not it's accurate. I'm thinking through the accusation that Gabby published in the newspaper, and I kind of like a flashy character accordingly.
Yes.
Somebody with some pizzazz.
So instead of kind of like the humble kindness of a Superman, we're talking more like Booster Gold.
A little bit of, I mean, like, I think even if it's sort of a misunderstanding, I like a sort of Booster Gold power set aesthetic.
Okay.
That kind of lends itself to that accusation, that whether or not we then find out that accusation is inaccurate.
Okay.
A name also popped into my head, in part because I'm thinking about producing the stream. I'm thinking about work. The name Lightworks popped into my head as a superhero name.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm throwing out to the group.
Lightworks?
Lightworks. Whether that is what they call themselves, what people call them, or what the media calls them.
I like something like that, but I'm thinking something a little bit more razzle dazzle, like a little more like fireworks. I was thinking Sparkle Fingers, which I obviously am borrowing from Shazam. But I don't know if we need to go quite that razzle dazzle, but somewhere in between. I like where you're going with it, though. Light is coming to my mind too.
I would like Razzle Dazzle to be either the name that the media to be one of the three names. I don't know which one, whether it's what they call themselves, what the media calls them, or what people call them, but Razzle Dazzle is great.
You know what? I think that definitely should be what Gabby calls them.
Razzle Dazzle.
Razzle Dazzle. I think that's what then like the media calls them.
The media calls them Razzle Dazzle.
Razzle Dazzle.
Is it endearing or is it not?
I feel like if you're leading the charge, it does not feel endearing. Like, this tied into like they are a fame-seeking shill, and that feels like calling them Razzle Dazzle is an insult.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, so then as a name, it should probably be evocative of Razzle Dazzle, but like a little bit less outrageous.
Or outrageous in like in a little different way. Like,
yeah.
What keeps popping into my head is like, we could choose like a Greek god. So this hero could be called the Olympian or something, but.
Ooh, I really like that.
I was thinking of like Adonis.
Yeah.
Oh, Adonis is great because like then that gives me the image that like Adonis literally does shimmer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That gives a good sense of razzle dazzle.
That's perfect.
And I'm gonna throw out a name that is outrageous in a different way as the name that people call Adonis. Very literally. Adonis the Golden God is a great nickname for a literal god themed character named Adonis.
The Golden God.
Golden God. Hey, Golden God.
Golden God.
I like that.
Or Razzle Dazzle. And then that kind of I'm picturing like a city protector. I'm picturing. Do we have any thoughts about power level, powers, or etc.? Do we want to keep that pretty vague and open?
I kind of like keeping it vague and open because I'm kind of also thinking of like kind of like 80s Superman where like he just has powers that are like whatever we need them to be.
I like that. I'm into that.
He's got them.
I'm into that. The one question that I have is like, what's the demeanor that pops into your head for this character so that we have it in case it comes up? The initial impression that we get, even if it proves out to be wrong later.
Smiley is something that sticks in my mind. I think that's something that Flo picked up on when she like ran into.
Smiley's good.
I'm gonna take that a step further and say he's got the Invisalign smile. So it's like
he's got like a perfect smile.
Perfect smile, but also he's had braces.
Right.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. That's great. Okay, then we've got that mapped out, and now we're ready to kick off the game proper. So the way this is going to work, we are going to identify a villain and a threat. The villain is the person perpetrating the threat. The threat is a thing that has put the city in danger. This can be a natural disaster. This can be a scheme. This can be a supervillain plot. It can also be political corruption. The threat is just the thing that spurs us into action, and the villain, if we decide to have a villain, is the person behind it. We don't have to know the villain upright. It is helpful to have the threat as kind of an inciting incident. But how play is going to work is that we are going to split GMing duties. Each of us is going to be the Pulitzer, which is our term for a GM, which is a great term for a GM. And we are going to set the scene. We're going to describe what our heroes are up against, what our intrepid journalists are facing. Our journalists are going to describe how they spring to action, how they're trying to solve the threat in that moment in this scene. We're going to roll some dice. The dice will tell us how we do. And then when the scene ends, we will pass on the Pulitzer to our next player, and sort of they will pick up the story and run with it until we reach a natural conclusion. So I am thinking I can take the first scene, and I'm trying to decide, is there a threat? What's the vibe of the threat? Are we in a superhero city investigating something mundane? Has something big and superheroic happened? Where are both of your excitements at this moment?
I had kind of a dumb idea.
No, all ideas are great ideas. Dumb ideas are my favorite.
Dumb
Please
ideas
run
are
with it.
usually the best. So go with that. Yeah.
If we are working for this, if we're working for the hacksaw, right? What if the hacksaw is being sold to a larger paper? But we know that Harry Hacksaw has the money to not let that happen. The paper that is being sold to is like opposite in its thesis as to what it wants to achieve.
Like, is it like more serious, or is it like on a different scale, like global news as opposed to local news?
Ooh. Yeah.
I love a good evil media conglomerate.
Yeah.
Like I love a good Lex Luthor is buying out the paper to shut it down
To
because
change the narrative, right?
Yeah.
You could control the narrative through the paper. We
Yeah.
know that media is a very powerful tool. Or is it going to be something, or is it like something that wants to buy it out that's like, like the future of this is sad to say this, but the future of media, which is, more stuff on just like more sleazy, like tabloids and what we would deem as clickbait. But I feel like we're not really at the era where you have like laptops. So but whatever the equivalent of that was back in the day, paparazzi.
I kind of like a control the narrative angle, especially. And here's my pitch as I shuffle Miss Carla Tortelli off I guess behind my laptop where she is going to sit until she leaves my desk. What I want to propose, because I'm thinking about what we've already got on the table. Hello, girl. Come on, go to the floor, Carla, girl. Oh no.
She's like, I'm what's on the table right now. It's like
I'm the paper now.
I'm the paper. The stream needs Carla. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about, because I think a really good inciting incident is that story that Gabby published.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I'm imagining is that, like, we've published that story. A lot of eyes are on the paper, even if they're angry at the paper. And if somebody in power wants to defame and like really take down Adonis and like destroy Adonis's reputation, like break them as a hero, or like fully keep them under heel if they truly are the person that Gabby has claimed, which is an equally likely possibility, then buying the paper that people are looking to as the one that went after Adonis is a great way to like further advance that narrative. And it's sort of like there's now blood in the water of I want this newspaper so that we can fully set our sights on destroying Adonis.
That's interesting because in a way it could imply that our villain might end up actually being the hero of the story. If Adonis is who you say he is, Gabby. Who knows?
Who knows?
Or maybe
Very interesting.
Maybe everyone is wrong. We could find there's a lot of interesting possibilities that I think is like I think that's what that's the villain and threat is, the person trying to buy out our paper and transform it from what it was.
And so our villain and threat is kind of one and the same.
Yeah. That feels good. That feels great. So then I think our first scene is I'm gonna set it in the newsroom. We are in the bullpen of the Hacksaw, which is actually just a it's the bullpen in the loosest sense. It is a repurposed apartment built, like a repurposed condo somewhere in the city, with a printing press inside. And we have gotten word that this sale is going to happen unless it can be stopped, is the implication that we have shared amongst ourselves. But we are experiencing this moment. And then from there, at that moment, like it's early, it's lunchtime, the paper has gone out for the day, the Hacksaw has hit the press. We've gotten a word that the sale is forthcoming. And I think there is a defeated energy around the newsroom as we kind of brainstorm as a group, like how we take this thing on. Like, how do you stop the sale of this newspaper or change the direction to keep the spirit of this thing? Because it is obvious from everything that we can tell about MNW, Mega News Worldwide, that they are going to change, that they are going to obliterate the spirit of the Hacksaw. So how are our characters reacting to this news as it happens immediately?
I think Flo is watering the flowers. That's her way of coping with this stressful time. I'm imagining her with her sneakers off. It's a really hot day in the city. It's like the heat of the summer. And this is coming on like one of the hottest days, this news. So it's like you can barely even lift a finger. It's already hard enough being in our tiny little office building where we have no AC. All the windows are open. And Flo has her shoes off and she's sitting or sort of kneeling on a beat up couch in the editor-in-chief's office, trying to lean out of the window to sort of water all of the flowers that are out there and bring a bit of brightness into the room, thinking if she can keep the flowers alive, maybe it'll keep the spirit alive as the intern.
I love Flo so much.
I really love Flo a lot, is the thing.
Oh, wow.
What's Gabby up to?
Gabby is probably pacing and is she a smoker? I wonder if she's a smoker. But
yeah,
she
I
quit.
think so.
She's smoking, but she's absolutely quit.
Or like you're pretending to smoke something. Like you're just going for the motion. Like you got a pencil, you know?
Pencil, just chewing on, or some celery. She's got just
pacing the patch on your arm or whatever you got.
Something. And just like, oh, I'm gonna tell off Harry the second he gets in. Harry's gonna I'm gonna rip out the 5 hairs that are remaining on his head when he gets in. This is
I think Lawson leans over and like the way that you would pop open a box or a cigarette case, pops open a box of Pocky and like leans over and hands you a Pocky stick. It's matcha. You want one?
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, good. I figure,
It's like grass, but thank you.
You can tell they use real matcha and it's honestly a great flavor, but you know what? They're gonna change. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. The rich are gonna get richer. I mean, I assume that you're gonna keep your job at least because everybody loves the shit slinging or whatever you call what the work that you do, but I mean,
The real journalism that I do, not the
sure,
oh,
sure,
look
sure,
at this
sure.
little meal I had. Isn't this great, you guys?
At this time, I think Flo comes in to get some more water for her little watering can in the kitchenette area. Are you guys really arguing right now? Is that what I'm hearing out here? We can't have this kind of attitude when Harry gets in here. Oh, this paper's it's gonna be. And she like just reaches up and like grabs a pencil out of her hair that's been holding it up as she's been watering, and she's like, someone needs to write down this day. This day is a monumentous day where we shift into a new narrative.
How are we gonna do that? And I think that he pauses for a second, and as I end the scene, there is an explosion and sirens outside. One of the mechanics of the game is that you draw a card for what the hero is doing at that moment. The card I drew, you know what? And I'm leaning very hard into the art on this card. I have these wonderful superhero playing cards. And
So
the
good.
comic, each one has comic book art in addition to the playing card. The one I drew is the 8 of Hearts, which has this drawing of a Godzilla. And the card result for the 8 of Hearts is the hero meets a new villain or threat. Y'all, there's a Hydra attack in the city.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And it's like, well, how are we gonna change the direction of this paper? Boom. Oh. And so with that, I'm going to hand Alana or Amanda, which of you would you like to take the Pulitzer and describe what the next scene is?
Amanda, if you take the Pulitzer, I mean, Flo will have achieved what she wants really early.
I know, really early on. I think I guess it kind of makes sense for me to maybe take it from here, since I was the one that was kind of like, we gotta write down something about this day. That's the way, like, we just need a story.
Okay.
So I will say,
and if you would like to know the hero's action, I can draw the card for you.
yes, that would be helpful.
I have drawn the 10 of Spades, which is the hero breaks into somewhere that they don't belong. So I guess my 2 questions for you are, where is this Hydra attack happening, and where is our hero breaking into? And I guess it's on us to figure out why.
I think the Hydra attack is happening at the end of the block.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the superhero breaks into our offices.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Not supposed to be here. Would have never expected the hero to show up here.
The second that Adonis kicks in the door, Lawson's response is immediately, "She's right there. She's there. That's it. No, we're cool. We are cool. You published it. I didn't say a word.
I told the truth.
I
didn't publish it. Harry published it.
No. Everyone needs to simmer down here. There's been a very serious situation, and I was hoping that there might be some volunteers to help me evacuate this building. You see, it's the high rise, and the high rise, of course, as you all know, is where some of the most powerful people in this city live. And if without them, how will the city continue?
All right, yeah, I'm starting to think maybe you were on to something.
The city will be fine without powerful people. Why are we not evacuating the people on the bottom floors that are, more at risk for getting debris falling on their heads? Isn't that your job and not
That is
our
a
job?
great question. I'm glad that you asked it. I have not been evacuating the people on the bottom floor because they're already all gone.
What about everybody who cannot use the elevators or the stairwells What about
Well,
our
that's who I
disabled
would like to
friends?
save. Yes, the people on the higher floors. That's what I said. The people that cannot use the stairs or the elevators.
Kind of did put egg on your face. I'm not just gonna put that
Oh.
out there.
What I do have is I have a lot of ladders that I figured if you wanted to come and help me with the ladders, that would be very helpful. / I also kind of just need people to pop into the building. I don't know. I assume, ma'am, that you would not be interested in that. I already know your opinions.
Can we have a table discussion before we make a formal decision?
I think at this point, Flo has come back out of. She went into the office as soon as the hero came in and has come back out with her shoes on. She's tying them up. She's like holding her foot in the air, tying up her shoes. And she's like, yeah, we could have a quick discussion, but we should probably go. Like, as this people is.
And I think Lawson kind of like spins on his heels, pulls in Gabby and Flo. Okay, listen, like, you don't like this jabroni. I could take her leave. You seem pretty cool. This would at very least give us a pretty inside track onto what this Razzle Dazzle is thinking, and that, if we were the inside source on all things super heroic, like that's good
Paper.
That's good gossip.
You make a good point.
Also, what if your story, I mean, I totally believe your story could be right from a certain perspective. And this could be the opportunity for us to finally prove it or disprove it, depending on where the truth lies. You know me, I'm a neutral party.
We need to think about this in a business perspective. I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. We can make this happen. But can I turn back to Adonis from our little huddle?
Yeah.
So, on one condition, I want an exclusive for the hacksaw. I want unlimited access to you for 48 hours following. And I want the truth. I want the real truth. Razzle dazzle. Sorry.
Jeff, do you want to take Adonis for this part?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I might ask you to roll some dice here. I might ask you I'm trying to decide if this is a truth or I think this is a justice. I think that even if you're asking for truth, I think this is a justice roll.
Okay.
So how this is going to work is you are going to roll a number of dice that are equal to your justice stat. We each have 3 stats, which are truth, justice, and perseverance. Truth is our mental activity. That is investigation. That is sussing things out. That is studying the details. Justice is our emotional activity. That is talking to people, talking people down, using our wits, getting out of sticky situations. And perseverance is our physical activity. That is throwing punches, jumping through windows, and doing physical things. You are going to, this is a Caltrop core game, which means that we are rolling exclusively D4, which is a joyful thing to roll. And you are going to roll a number of D4 equal to your justice stat, and then tell me what the highest number result that you rolled was. So, from 1 to 4.
I have a little power or a little ability here called We Must Keep Daring, which could give me the possibility of rolling my justice plus perseverance.
Okay.
But do you guys feel like I threatened Adonis kind of with an expose, real or fake?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm rolling 11, which is going to take some time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's 18 for the justice.
Just give me the number from 1 to 4 of what the highest of the results are, and then how many of that number you roll.
Oh, okay. So I have 2 8 or 2 4s.
2 4s.
3 3s and 1 1.
Okay, a 4 is an absolute success, and the fact that you got 2 of them Let me find the actual description of what that is.
And do you
A
have more dice to roll still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, a four is an absolute success. You get what you want, and you get an additional benefit. And what I will do is the more fours you roll from here, the bigger that benefit is.
Okay. Need it one more time. Oop. Oh, nope, that's on the floor. Okay. Okay, hold on. We are having technical issues. I just dropped 2 on the floor. Okay, let me try that one more time.
All right.
No one said journalism would be easy.
No,
No.
it's a high stakes career.
Yep.
Okay, I have 2 3s, 2 2s, and 1 1.
Okay, so with 2 4s, I am going to give you what you want, and I'm going to ask you what additional thing that you get, because I think that how he reacts to this, and this tells us a little bit about Adonis as a character in my mind, is like Adonis sees you negotiate and is immediately impressed. Like, is
Oh.
immediately like the fact that you make demands in this moment, he kind of like crosses his arms, he throws that big Invisalign smile, and he's like, I'll do you one better. You want 48 hours. Why not a whole special edition? I'll go to each department. Everybody, we'll give everybody 2 days. We'll do 2 weeks with the golden hero of New Hope, with the golden god of New Hope City. We'll do 2 weeks, 2 days with every department. You publish a whole special edition. This is the inside look at all things Adonis. Exclusive to the Hacksaw. Nobody else gets this kind of access. Nobody's going to know what Adonis's favorite foods are, favorite movies are, all of the latest gossip, everything that you can pick up on in 2 days.
Are you going to have any
back.
hyper gripes? Because that's important to this paper. This is slow.
I think he steps back. The sounds of a Hydra attack happening outside. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. We'll announce the special edition. People can send in their Adonis themed hypes and gripes. We publish all Adonis themed hypes and gripes. Whole issue, top to bottom, all superheroes all the time. This is an award-winning issue of the Hacksaw, if ever I've read one.
Yeah, this has got, like, come on, like, hypes and gripes.
You've got a deal. And we're leading this with Adonis, the golden boy, our old razzle-dazzle, decided to negotiate for this special edition of the Hacksaw instead of defeating a Hydra. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I think he kind of smiles. He's like, I would accept nothing less.
Yes. Okay.
All right. And I think with that, like, Amanda, anything else before we end the scene?
No, that's perfect ending to the scene.
All right, then it sounds like we are evacuating. It sounds like we are evacuating a building. Alana,
Yeah.
I'm going to hand this over to you. Talk to us about the challenges that we are facing as we evacuate and how we are going to take on this challenge.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like a neighborhood, what a neighborhood is like in this big city and where we'd kind of fit in. Is there a train nearby, do we think? Is this a good public transit city, or is this kind of like where I live, where the bus costs $4 to go 2 streets over?
We had originally, when we were talking throughout Chicago as like a reference point, so I love a good L track is just a good a good train track is a good superhero set piece. So I immediately think of a train, and in fact, what the game recommends is when we are introducing a new location to just go through the location process. So let's talk about this train line for a second.
Okay, so is it like a city block then that we want to say that the building is down? I was imagining it at like the end of the street, but I like the idea of us like needing to jump on the transit to get there.
Oh, I was just thinking that the train is like just overhead.
Yeah. I was
thinking.
You. So my reference, so Chicago, yeah, there's L train. I lived in New York for a while, so I'm thinking like Harlem, where the
Yeah.
train is like literally outside your window.
Oh yeah,
And if
100%.
we're in a
Right.
really kind of cheapo neighborhood, right? Like there's going to be the train right outside the window, and that could be hit by the Hydra in the neighborhood getting attacked.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah, we have
great.
trains that go above ground, but I've never been to Chicago. I've been to New York, and we have trains in Toronto that go a little bit above. It's actually
Yeah.
my favorite thing about riding the subway when it goes above ground. It feels so cute.
So, what's the detail about the New Hope L train? What's
Hmm.
the quirky detail about it, and who do we regularly find? Who can we regularly find on or around around the train stations?
Ooh.
I have a person,
Yes.
and this is based loosely on a real person. Who I don't know if still is active, but is important to me with a capital I. Um, there was a in Philadelphia, our transit system is SEPTA, and there was a driver for a trolley called the SEPTA Poet, who would just on microphone just say the most wonderful poetic things of like, "Hey everybody, I just want to let you know that it was an incredible cosmic coincidence that brought you here, and to never lose sight of the unbelievable circumstances that led to your existence on this earth. Market
Oh,
Street, next stop." And there
what
was
a
Twitter
lovely
accounts. There were
guy.
Twitter accounts that would just like be like, "We're passing by the river where you can see fishes splash and cars dash. 34th Street, next stop." And like it was just this beautiful thing. And I'm imagining I'm gonna call him Conductor Ron. Is one of our train conductors who is known for just long poetic diatribe or long poetic flourishes.
I love that. So we need a detail about this setting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What are we seeing as the Hydra attack is unfolding that is going to complicate our mission of evacuating this building?
Are these kind of older buildings? Is that I've been thinking that they're like red brick.
I'm kind of getting an
Old.
older building vibe, especially if we're not in as like fancy a part of the neighborhood.
Okay. So in that case, it's red brick buildings, lots of fire escapes
Mm-hmm.
that aren't necessarily well attached to the mortar of the building. And maybe one quirky thing is that at the train stations, they also have speakers facing out to the street instead of just inside the stations, so that if you're running late for your train, you know that you're running late for your train.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that could be how we incorporate Conductor Ron, is like somebody who needs to run over there and tell him to make it an emergency announcement or something.
Oh, I like that. I really, really enjoy that.
Okay. All right. So I would assume Adonis, does Adonis fly? What is
Yes.
this? Okay.
Okay.
Is he a
Whatever.
jump flyer or just like a levitating?
I'm imagining that's a good question. I'm imagining
I
him as like a jump into the sky flag guy.
I'm picturing kind of a jump into the sky, but then maybe tying into the name, maybe it's a glide where like you jump and then he can position himself, but there's kind of a trail of sparkle, like kind of a trail of
Yeah.
golden glitter.
Like a
Oh my
glittery
God.
flying squirrel?
Yeah,
So-
kind of a
Yes.
glittery flying squirrel.
I love it. Okay. So we're going to cut through the window as Adonis jumps back out the window and glitters his way down the city block onto our protagonists. And I guess we should run down the stairs.
Yeah, I'm imagining like maybe we're even seeing a train like approaching, so it's get the people out quickly because this train is going to collide with this Hydra attack pretty shortly if we cannot both tell them to stop the train and also get people out of the building.
But we
I think
can't hear each
Flo
other
has started
talking.
going out the fire escape, out the window through
Oh,
the
no.
editor-in-chief's office.
I was going to
For
say that
instance.
maybe as the L train, or I guess let's just call it the L train, as
Yeah.
the L train is coming in, it's one of those that is so close that it shakes the whole building as you go. So Flo going out the fire escape is it's holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
We didn't hear we are distracted by Adonis and didn't pay attention to the drain coming.
I think that sounds like a perseverance roll.
I think it does.
She's got Moxie,
I don't-
so you're gonna pass it. I know it.
I hope so. We don't have any integrity tokens, do we?
Let me find out when
Did you
we
start with
get
any of those.
integrity tokens.
I got some abilities, but they require integrity.
Integrity is a pool of resources. You can represent it by placing tokens in the middle of the table. Tokens can be spent to reroll any action or ignore damage. We can grab from the pool whenever we want. Let me see. When we get them is the only question. I'm not sure when we get the tokens. Hold on.
All right.
I wasn't clear on that either.
What it is I think in which case what I'm going to say is I'm just going to put a bunch of tokens on the table.
Cool.
I'm going to say we've got 10 tokens on the table and that you can
All
grab
right.
from them as you will.
Okay, cool. 10 tokens.
1, 2,
To
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Is there
10.
a specific way we acquire these? Is it when we earn integrity?
It's not super clear in the text, so what I'm going to throw out is let's go ahead and just say when you put your character knowingly into trouble, you get a token, so go ahead and take a token for climbing out on that fire escape.
Sweet. All right.
Love
So
it.
we've got 10 tokens and 11 tokens in our pool then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to use a token. So just back down to 10. Why did I even write that down? Why? I knew I was going to do that. Yeah, I wrote it down anyways. And I'm going to try and roll some truth with this as well. So I have 4d4 for perseverance and 4d4 for truth.
Okay.
Nice.
And I can do that as long as I can link it back to my school, because my ability is I went to school, you see. So whenever I find myself completely out of my depth in a situation, I can spend an integrity token and roll some truth. So I am going to say, as this is shaking, basically just call out and be like, this is fine. You know, before I went to college, I was in military school, and one of the things that we learned is how to scale all kinds of surfaces. So I'm pretty sure I can just get down from here while this is shaking. Don't worry about me, guys.
Oh my gosh.
We'll see how it goes. I think if I fail, you guys get to correct me too, which should be fun. Okay, so this is 2 4s.
Awesome.
Flawless.
Or 3 4s. Oh my. Yeah.
I just imagine you doing like a little backhand flip, just landing perfectly.
Lawson's got his hands in his pockets. Did you know she could do that?
No, but I don't know. That girl has depths.
What? She's too cool. I don't like this.
Cool.
And I think that Lawson kind of looks over, sees the train coming, and kind of sits for a second. I got an idea.
Okay.
And I think he's gonna grab a phone. I imagine we've got computers, but I love a good handheld.
We gotta
phone.
have I feel like we don't have cell phones. Like
like what kind of computers do we have? Are they they're like the first computers ever? Like an old school Mac, or like what are we dealing with?
Like maybe
One of those
Windows
big
95.
Yeah.
With the CRT.
Good chunky computer.
Yeah.
Love it.
But I'm gonna walk back. I'm gonna grab this phone. I'm gonna dial a number. Lawson has an encyclopedic knowledge of every restaurant in town.
I believe it.
And I think what I'd like to try to do is a little bit of retroactive detective work, or a little bit of triangulation. I know every restaurant in town. I know the restaurants that have signed photos of conductor Ron. I'm going to call one of these places and see if they've got a number for his train line where he gets food kind of delivered to, and see if I can get Ron's train number.
Only in a comic book can you get food delivered to your train while you're riding the train.
I imagine it's
That's
they
awesome.
wait at the stop, they hand off them food, they get the money, and he's off when he's off.
No joke. When I lived in New York, one of my roommates would do that. They were like a bike messenger that would meet your train with food from this Chinese restaurant down the street from us.
Just
and
hand
then
it to
just
you.
hand it off. And then
I love it.
yeah, it was great. They made
That's
so much
awesome.
money.
I can imagine, like, that is some convenience, you know what I mean? Like passing it off while you're on the train. Someone should start that. If anyone's listening to this podcast and they're in Toronto, start this. I'll be a customer. This sounds great.
This does sound great.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and make a truth roll, I think. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
I'll
so.
make a truth roll and see how this goes. Just because I like rolling dice. This was a thinly veiled excuse for me to roll dice. That is 3 4s.
Wow. So you
Out of
find
6
Conductor
dice, off
Ron
of 6 dice, yeah.
immediately. And
So, I think Conductor Ron's favorite restaurant. It's well, what's a good food to eat while you are driving or conducting a train? Maybe it's a pita place. That feels like a good, you can hold it in one hand and kind of get into it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or wait, what was the cart?
Oh, it was the Euro. It was New Hope number one Euro cart.
Yeah. Is a Euro a good thing that you could just have in one hand?
Yeah,
I'm
can
thinking
wrap it up and
you could, but there's gonna be a lot of sauce.
there's gonna be a lot of sauce drippage.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you might want to go with the other kind of hero, like the sub.
Like a hoagie, sure.
Like
Yeah.
Hoagie, that's the word that sorry.
Oh my gosh. A hoagie.
Yeah, we call the hoagie place. I get his number. I get him on the line. Hey, Mr. Ron. This is Lawson Lentils. Yes, the Lawson Lentils from the Hatchet. New Hope's #1 food reporter. Hey, just a heads up that you are about to collide that train that you are driving right into a did we figure out if it's a Gorgon or like what's this thing? Do we know?
So many heads.
It's looking like it's probably a Hydra situation, so you may want to just go ahead and hit that handbrake post haste.
Dr. Ron. Well, I thanks for the call.
I don't feel like even a poet's gonna have a great response to my train's about to hit a Hydra.
Okay. Well, I don't. You can hear like little notebook kind of ruffling. I have nothing. I have no material for this.
I don't got it for this one.
Riders, you better watch your head, or maybe the 3 outside, because this is gonna get wild.
Genuinely for working on the fly. Pretty great.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed.
So you hear the screeching of metal on metal as you can hear Ron pulling the handbrake, which does allow one door to hit the station. So everybody file towards the front door with your dancing shoes. Post haste, that means move real fast. Thank you for riding my train. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm bad at poetry.
No.
I love
Are
it.
you kidding me? That was immaculate. That made me so happy for this silly character pitch that I threw out. Now I have to ask you a quick question. As we make our way to the building to evacuate people, and as the scene I think wraps up, what was the hero framed for that they didn't actually do?
There was
It said
So-
that they put the mayor's daughter in danger, but they actually saved the mayor's daughter from danger.
That could, you know what, that could be it. So Natural History Museum, there were 2 schools on a field trip. One was, Upper Boroughs prep school that the mayor's daughter goes to. And the other one was kind of an inner city school, much less funded. And the prep school kids were not as much in danger as the inner city kids. So Adonis saved the prep school kids, did not save the inner cities kids. And like 3 out of 15 or something were grievously injured or died.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
Yeah, I think maybe.
So they did do something bad then. They weren't framed for that.
They weren't framed, but they were framed as making the wrong choice.
I got it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I like that. I really, really like that. And so
And also not putting themselves in enough danger, because they chose the group in less danger.
Right.
So
like
cowardly.
So I would love if I may take over, as I think because I really want to cut to Flo. I want to see how Flo is like getting people out of this building. There's like, I think there are some fires breaking out, and like there is like clear damage to this skyscraper as Lawson and Gabby like desperately make their way over. Flo, having done some real parkour shit, is just way ahead of us.
Yeah, Flo's also been running in her sneakers, I'm imagining. Like she was actually, well, you guys were calling the train. Flo's thought was this train is here right now. She was trying to literally like jump onto the train or like wave at it, get it to stop, anything that she could do with her limited resources.
I'm just imagining like Daniel Craig kind of James Bond moves. Like
James Bond, but what if James Bond was an intern? That's kind of like Flo's.
I also love that like as you're doing this, you do see the train crawl to a stop and people get off of it. So you are feeling bulletproof as you look at this burning building, because like in your
Flo's
mind,
probably thinking, I did that. That was all me.
And we see like some windows blow out and some fire comes out of the skyscraper that Adonis has told us to evacuate people. What is Flo doing, and what are Gabby and Lawson seeing as we arrive?
So I think Flo is already like up one of the ladders that Adonis set up and is like climbing into a window. Probably, I don't want to make it like too high off the ground. Like maybe we're like 5th story or something. Still pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Climb, yeah. But like not unreasonable. I could imagine someone climbing 5 stories on a ladder. And sort of climbs into the window there. And as you get there, I'm imagining there's like little explosions coming out of windows, and you can see kind of Adonis like gliding around, trails of sparkles behind that good old razzle dazzle, trying to, and like people in their arms, like they're trying to get as many people out, it seems, as they can.
Okay.
Are some of them the most wealthy people in the city? I don't know, but they're people.
How are we getting people out of here?
Well, I think what Flo's doing is Flo kind of like stays low to the ground, trying to avoid any smoke, and is just sort of calling out to people, and has her briefcase with her and is giving people wigs that they can use to cover their face as kind of like an impromptu mask.
Oh,
what a great prop. Oh my god.
That's so good.
Screaming.
So she's using those to kind of help people as they kind of crawl towards safety, and is also kind of calling out for Adonis at spots, and he just kind of teleports into these rooms and grabs people and teleports out and flying all over the place.
Give me a justice roll.
Sure. Justice.
I've got the scene in, I think it's in, is it Waterboy? No, it's the remake of Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler where he's
Mhm.
just throwing cats out the
Oh my
window onto
gosh.
the fire trampoline.
Man, I really want to go to add some rolls because I'm a little nervous, but I think I'm just gonna let it be this time.
Okay.
Oh, I
You
got
got
2
this.
4s.
Woo!
Okay. Yeah, you're able to
Not
like
bad.
guide people out. The wigs are exactly what you needed to like
Nice.
get people out of the building.
Mhm.
So I think Gabby, as we arrive, Flo has evacuated the building like a
Oh yeah.
professional. And I would love to I have proposal for one more scene.
Yeah.
And I will end with because I think because the card that I just drew for
Can
the
I?
hero's action.
Okay, show me that.
The card I drew for the hero's action for my turn here has me opened up for like a very compelling climax or our stories as reporters.
Mm.
And that is that the hero captures someone. And
Can
what I
I?
please
Oh,
because
okay.
I got something, but if you what I want to hear.
I had an idea of basically just before we end this scene that after like helping to evacuate people, uh, basically, basically one wig is left in the suitcase, and it's a
Mhm.
very like kind of commonplace, simple brown wig.
Sure.
And like many of the characters that I play, I just imagine a lot of them to be a variation of myself. So I imagine Flo is like very like striking red, like probably even brighter red hair than I have. Shocking carrot color. And she puts on this brown wig and pulls out some sunglasses from her pocket and is attempting to disguise herself
Oh.
as someone who would be perhaps a little bit more average person. She's not anyone special. To see if the hero will come and save her.
So,
Hmm.
I this is great because like I have an answer to this question.
Okay.
I
If this
think
works with what you want to do.
this works perfectly with
Offer.
what I no, this works
Right.
perfectly because the
Perfect.
person the person that Adonis is going to capture is a separate person, and I think that is such an interesting question that I'm sitting with it. I think what you notice is that like you're not saved right away. Like you're kind of like watching there, and it gets we as the viewers, it gets a little tense. We're seeing fires break, we're seeing light bulbs pop and explode. And then but then sure enough, you do see the glimmering thing. You look around, you're outside. And Adonis kind of like gives a snap at a point of like don't forget to tell your friends, and then like disappears off. Like I think that the answer to the question of would Adonis save you as an ordinary person is yes, but not first, and that is where the problem. It's not necessarily that he is in the pocket.
Hmm.
It's that he's a little bit he's got a little bit of image awareness. And so like you save the people that might give you that might give you a back rub later. But
Right.
Hmm.
he also it is about doing good. It's just he's a little bit vain, and I think that's the
This is a
ultimate answer to
very
the question.
Booster Gold story.
I love existing in the peripheries of a booster gold. It makes me very happy. Um, but Gabby, you and I arrive, and this is the end of the scene, and where I kind of want to throw to our climax. We arrive just in time for Adonis to pop down next to us with somebody being held by the collar of like a
Ooh.
jacket, and it's like kind of a puffy it's like a puffy almost a stunt person jacket, or almost like a fire resistant jacket, like somebody knew that there were going to be fires, and
Oh.
they have a camera around their neck. Adonis comes down, looks at you, looks at me. Hey, so remember that exclusive that we were gonna do? Do y'all want an extra juicy story to include somewhere in the middle, alongside obviously the gossip column that Adonis negotiated this whole thing? Kind of roughly tosses down this photographer. Mega News Worldwide photographer, staff reporter. Seems an awful
Hmm.
lot like they knew that this Hydra attack was going to happen. which tells me that this is a frame-up job.
Shit.
I'm saying if we can prove it,
Can
that's a hell of
I-
a front cover story.
Can I use one of my abilities
Yeah.
for us? I kind of
Yeah.
want to share this though. Can I share it?
Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah.
So, as this is being said, Flo, who is still in her disguise, so maybe people don't realize that it's actually Flo. I'm imagining she just didn't take off her wig or sunglasses yet. She checks a little note in her pocket. And she puts it back in her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to spend 2 integrity tokens
Okay.
to set a goal during this scene. And the goal is to find the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds great. I like that.
So I can add a 4d4 to all rolls that go towards achieving that goal until the scene is over.
That's great. Especially
And if
because
the goal isn't achieved, we all lose 5 health points. Or I lose
What?
5
Oh,
health
no.
points. But I like to raise the stakes. I think we should all lose.
we're all
5.
losing it. Because here's what I want the last scene to be. And this is a bit more GM. This is a bit more of a everybody's throwing in ideas scene. I want to know how each of us, I think this is a montage scene where the 3 of us using our distinct skill sets prove that this was a setup job. And like what dirt we uncover on Mega News Worldwide.
And possibly Adonis.
What dirt we pull up by and because I want us to end with a good scene of us all doing investigating work and doing news reporter work. And I think that's a good thing for us all to do and kind of give a little bit of a montage of like how we're cracking this particular case.
Sounds good.
I like it.
Does anybody have
Cool.
thoughts about how their character is chasing this truth? Because I have an ability that I would love to use, but I don't necessarily need it to be the first thing that happens.
Gotcha. Well, Gabby has all the insights on the upper echelon of society because you got to know who's wearing what ball and all that stuff. Yeah. But she always wears a hidden microphone, right?
Yeah.
So she has juicy gossip on everybody in her big book of secrets, and she makes a couple calls specifically, if this is okay, to Mr. Mitchell, the mayor's fixer.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you like run off to a phone booth, or are you like one of the few people that actually has a cell phone in this day and age? Like you have like an old school pull out a giant thing.
Big chunky?
Because I could imagine Gabby having a cell phone as like the gossip columnist. Like she might be the only one of us that owns a cell phone in the building.
You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say it's not a big chunky cell phone, it's a car phone.
Car phone!
And she has
Nice.
one of those like the early 90s Toyota Supras.
Like the leather, is it a leather bag that you
So
unzip
is that
and
how
take
you
a phone
guys
out?
got here? Did you guys drive in your car?
Or maybe she just runs back down the block or something. I don't know.
I like the idea of you guys rolling up in your like fancy old age car. I think
And
that's
she had to put a towel down because she doesn't want Lawson sitting right on the seats.
It's fine. You do sit up and notice that Lawson was like a candy bar did fall out, and Lawson was just like, yeah, like I think Lawson is getting out of the car and is like, that is insulting. That is how dare you? Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. That one's on me. The towel, great idea. Not gonna lie.
But yeah, so maybe she gets in the car phone, hops on, probably leaves you two, to be fair.
Yeah.
And goes down to talk to Mr. Mitchell, because surely, from one gossip to effectively another, he knows what's going on, since all business dealings this big would need to be run by the mayor, or run past the mayor, rather.
I love it. Give me a truth. Give me no, this is more of a social thing. Give me a justice roll.
A justice roll. You
Yeah.
got
And
it.
add 3d4 because you're using your big book of secrets.
Yes.
And an
Okay.
additional 44 because we're chasing the truth of what happened. We're piling dice on this. That is
Oh boy. Okay.
13 dice.
That's 13.
Wow. That's a lot of dice.
Okay, so we're doing 6 right
Big
now.
piles of dice. Big piles of dice.
Okay. I got 2 3s, a 2 and a 1. 2 4s and a 3. I'm not keeping track of this.
We got a 4. That's all that's what we needed.
Okay.
What do you find out? What is the crucial piece of information that you find out?
Okay. I think the crucial piece of information. Oh my gosh, your cat is so cute.
I love her so much. She's the light. She's the light of my day, even when she is intruding upon streams. I will never once be angry at it because she's a precious baby, but I am gonna give her a light push, and then she's just gonna turn around and walk the other way and go, no.
Yeah.
I think the information that we're gonna get from the fixer is Adonis has a pager.
Oh.
And certain people in the government and in the higher society have the pager's number.
Oh. I think.
Is that too weird? Or...
No, I think that's great. And I think that okay, I know what I want to do. I am going to I think we pan over to what is the restaurant inside the Natural History Museum? Like, what's the specialty of the cafe in the Natural History Museum?
They have a cupcake store.
Oh God!
I love
that sells cupcakes that are all decorated like different things that you can find in the museum.
Yeah, that's
like some of them are really cool. Like one of them's like a mummy, but like one of them's just like a plate. But you're like, well, that's supposed to be like the heritage plate from like
that's
1800s. Great. It's the oldest plate in the city.
we cut to Lawson sitting across the cafe, each with a cupcake in front of them, interviewing Marl Markley about just like interviewing kind of ostensibly just about like the opening of this cupcake shop. And I think is like very specifically like sneaking in questions about, I think the questions that he sneaks in are very much so this is a very lovely, I imagine you get some very exclusive events held here at the museum. You probably, I imagine someone would be able to rent out the entire museum. Like, what would be the process to go into that? And the kind of like gently prod, like, if Marl is connected enough to be connected with the people in power who would put in this call and then let Adonis know that it was happening, is aggressively the line of questioning, like just kind of like gently peppering them in, because I do have the ability. Everyone loves free food. When you manage to interview someone over a meal, I can ask them a question and roll truth. On a success, they'll give me an answer, but not everything. On an absolute success, they give the whole truth, and I can ask a follow-up question.
Love it.
So this is 6 dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 4 for finding the truth. So 10 dice.
Plus you get an extra one from me because you're looking for the truth.
I do. So that is, I believe that is 6. That is 7. Plus I get an extra one because we do see me dab my lip with my lucky handkerchief, which gives me an extra D4.
Nice.
Which gives me 8D4 that I'm rolling here. Come on. Okay, that is exactly 1-4. That is exactly what I needed.
Awesome.
So I'm going to ask the two of you 2 questions. 1, in a broad sense, do the rich and powerful within New Hope have access to the museum's exhibits, such as a Hydra skeleton that could be resuscitated into a Hydra? Is question 1.
Well, I think definitely, because I mean, it is their city. So
yeah.
And question 2, I mean, if I get to ask a follow-up question, I'm just going to be explicit. Like, I have to decide. I don't know if it's a question. You know what? We're going to go with it, and then we can talk through like how this comes out. We can talk through how this comes out, but like, are the rich and powerful people the people that have access to Adonis's pager is the question. And it could go either way. I will leave in both of your hands. Like, and like, that's the question. And like piecing that together, maybe it's even asking question like, has Adonis ever rented out the museum? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there a more overt connection between Adonis and the people that have access to the museum's things, such as a Hydra skeleton?
Sorry, ask that question again.
Yes. So Lawson is sitting. He's got his food. He's eating his cupcake. He's picking at the question of like, do rich and powerful people have access to museum things? And I think the follow-up question is, does that include Adonis?
I think the answer is no.
That is a juicy double twist.
How do you feel about me saying that? Because I have an idea.
Alana, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm okay with that. I feel like the if I could twist that again, maybe the curator would say, I have access because this is, an important and beautiful establishment that must be saved. So therefore I have access
To Adonis.
Now that pushes that pushes this twist in a whole other direction. Flo, what are you unraveling? How is our intern giving what is our intern giving us? And then we'll come together and decide what the ultimate truth is.
Okay. So I have an idea.
Go for it.
My idea is to, still disguised. I like how we had a montage of everyone going to different places and doing things. Flo's gonna stay where she is. And she's going to, disguised, throw herself into Adonis's arms, right at Razzle Dazzle, and just using her letter opener, which she always has, which I imagine has like a little buzz saw on the one end to cut letters open, since it's Harry's. As she's holding the superhero close and is just being like, you saved my life, I can't believe it. And he's like, oh ma'am, like this is too much. She cuts, the gentleman that he's holding at the scruff is right between them, so she uses the letter opener to cut away the camera. And as Adonis, pushes her back and says, oh, ma'am, like, this is fine. I have a meeting I have to get to with some very important reporters. Have to see if they want this scoop. So I'm going to take this man in. But you're welcome, of course. Don't forget to tell everyone about it. And he flies off. And on the camera, I have to roll to see if this works.
Yeah, I think this is Alana, what do you think? Is this perseverance?
Perseverance, for sure.
Yeah, perseverance.
Add an extra D4. Add an extra D4 because you're seeking the truth, and an extra D4 from your letter opener.
Right, my letter opener. Okay, I got a 4.
Okay, what's on the camera?
So what is on the camera is you see pictures of the attack.
Quick question. Is this on film or is this digital?
Film.
Gotta have a cool darkroom scene, right? Like,
yeah.
we gotta have
So what Flo finds on the camera is pictures of the scene, Adonis saving people, all the stuff that we would expect as someone that is in the government's pocket.
Mm.
But when she goes far enough back, there's more film on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And on the camera, she also finds pictures of Adonis with the Hydra. And like, they're just having a lovely time. They're eating ice cream. They're
like this and be like,
hanging out.
Like bunny ears and
and there's also this this picture of Adonis, if you go far enough back, it barely looks like him. It's like a scrawnier version of the hero that we know. And in a tube in a lab. And we see a picture of him with a small Hydra where he is a child sitting in a spaceship.
Oh my goodness.
In a crater. And that's the end of the film. And Flo kind of surmises that this is definitely a government job, but almost that this Adonis is maybe also a victim. She's not sure.
Well, can I throw a twist on that?
I like it. Yeah, throw a twist.
What if it's not? What if the job here? Like, what if this is specifically a museum job? Like, what if this is? What if like this lab and this engineering and all of these things, like, maybe the three of us, like, as we're studying this, we get this cool darkroom sequence, and there's like one architectural detail. Maybe there's a column in the back of one of these photos, or like that. There's only one place in the city that has that kind of column. It's a very like ornate structure. And if Marl Markley is the only person that has Adonis's pager number and access to these Hydra bones, was this organized by the museum, and for what end?
I think
that's incredible.
I think it could be. Well, I think we need one more quick button scene.
Okay,
which
yeah,
is the confrontation. So I think we go to the museum.
Yep.
The three of us, and we're kind of sleuthing, is what I'm imagining.
Oh,
like
for
we're
sure,
trying to sneak in after hours. And I think what we see is we see Adonis in a conversation.
Ooh.
And we all know that he's talking to Marl Markley. And maybe the Hydra is even there, chilling.
Oh yeah,
this is after people are cleaning up the debris. It's been a little bit of time. Yeah, what's the Hydra doing? I
sleeping like a cat.
Sleeping like a cat.
So how we've snuck back into kind of like the records area.
Yeah.
Or the okay.
There's this confrontation happening between Marl and Adonis.
And what are they saying? I guess is the question. What do we hear as we snoop?
Oh, I've got it. I think I've got a good tying the pieces together here. Why did you let the mayor's daughter walk away before a photo op? You were supposed to get a photo op. This was your chance to get into the upper elite. This was your chance to get us into the upper elite. This was your chance to get me photoed. This was supposed to be a prime opportunity for you to open the door so that we could launch our political ambitions. Why did you let it slip? You had one job.
Yeah, but there were other people in that building. I mean,
other people don't matter. It's about the people that make the best photos and get us into the room that we need to be in to make things happen.
I know you said, Marl, that if we can get into the right rooms and make things happen, we can make the world a better place. But just after that last incident, I don't know. I'm starting to feel strange about this. I know it's about saving the right people, but what about those kids that I couldn't save?
We will save a lot more kids when you are mayor and I'm pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It's just going to take time, and a few eggs might get broken along the way, but we're going to make a great omelet at the end of the day. I promise you.
Right. I guess this isn't what I thought being a superhero was going to be. I didn't think that breaking the eggs, as you say, would be, I guess I just thought it would be easier.
What are we doing in this moment?
You got your microphone?
Yeah, no, I was waiting for like the right pause, and I was gonna hop in. So
Right.
actually, if that's okay,
Yeah,
we can
please.
edit
Yes.
that. So I'll be like, no, I don't know what to say. Well, you don't have to worry about that, because you just told the whole city about those eggs and the strings you're pulling from behind the scenes, Morrow Markley.
This microphone is hooked up to all the transit systems. I've got it wired up from that time that I went to tech school.
She went to school for it.
I did go to school for that.
Also, not for nothing, but
it's
every restaurant in town also might be playing this over their loud system. I called in a couple favors
to the radio system in my car, and the car phone is.
It's a really long wire. You normally can't buy these. You have to craft them, actually. So guess what? No more of this stuff. We got to work on these lines. Not very quippy.
Yeah, if we're gonna be doing this like professionally, like on an ongoing basis, we should probably get like our banter up. But you know,
rehearse it.
Wait, rehearse. That's honestly, Flo, rehearsing's a great idea.
Rehearse it.
We could do some drills, do some improv, some zip zap zop, and really just kind of like get some back and forth.
You too. We are professional journalists. We do not banter. We tell the truth, and we get justice. And right now, Adonis, Mara Markley,
Merle Markley is like, quick, get rid of these suckers.
And I think Adonis like pauses for a second, looks at his hands, and the shot that makes the front page of the newspaper is just a golden hand like socking Marl in the jaw.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've exposed it. This is of course the Adonis special. This is the exclusive.
And the title above it is "Old Razzle Dazzle Strikes Again."
Yep, there it is. And that and that's game. Oh my god, thank you both so much for playing this with me. This has put the biggest smile on my face. I am over the moon. This was a joy.
This was so much fun. Thank you for having us.
Oh, of course. Thank you again. Real quick, where can people find both of you online? Amanda, where can people find you online?
You can find me just by, if you Google my name, Amanda McKnight, I come up. You can also find me at VampX13 on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm on Twitch as well, and we actually have a really cool indie RPG night that we do on my Twitch a couple times a month, me and a couple friends. So if you like games like this that are small in one session and delightful and sometimes use dice and sometimes not, come on over and check it out sometime. We'd love to have you.
And Alana, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at Seraphim Falls with a C, not an S, on Twitter, Instagram, all the usual places. You can look up podcasts that I'm on, Dog and Thimble, Blue Meanies, and I've also done a couple of actual plays with Creme Demented. We just finished a City of Mist arc, so yeah, love to talk to people.
Well, fantastic. Well, everybody, thank you again for watching. If you haven't yet, click the links in the chat and below. Go and donate to the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund. That is why we're doing this. That is the nature of this fundraiser. We hope that you find it to donate or share the stream, boost the tweets, share the signal. Anything that you can do. It is a really important way for us to step up and show support for our siblings and loved ones in the trans community. But yeah, I'm going to throw it over to Jeff in the future so that he can check in with donation totals and the fundraiser and all of that good stuff. And otherwise, I will say good night, everybody.
Good night and good luck.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.